It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. Newcastle police have charged two teenagers over an incident in which a pig's head was hurled into the grounds of the Wallsend Mosque. Police say the two 17-year-olds have made admissions regarding the incident last week and will be dealt with under the Young Offenders Act. They've been charged with offensive behaviour and aggravated littering. A 12-year-old girl has escaped injury after her father suffered a suspected heart attack while behind the wheel at Guitarra. Police say the 54-year-old was driving along Carnley Avenue at about 8:30 last night when he suffered a medical episode and lost control of the car before crashing into a tree. The man's daughter was in the front passenger seat and desperately tried to save her dad. An off-duty police officer and an off-duty nurse who were following behind in separate cars stopped to render assistance. However, the man was pronounced dead on arrival at the John Hunter Hospital. The contentious Newcastle Art Gallery redevelopment is back on the table, with Council agreeing to reapply for state and federal funding. Newly elected Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms used her casting vote to get the motion through in a bid to kickstart the city's revitalisation. She says it's high time the project was prioritised.
To be fair, the Art Gallery redevelopment project has been put back on the table by a Lord Mayoral minute from myself, a long-term supporter of that project. I was completely devastated over the last 2 years when this council refused to go ahead with the project and gave the federal government back $7 million.
However, Liberal councillor Brad Luke says the funds are simply not available.
We don't have the money to do it. It's very simple. What she's done is reactivate that project, and the only way she can allocate funds to that project is doing things like 50% increase for your rates, which is what she then went and did, or taking the money out of other projects.
The Premier claims delaying the truncation of the heavy rail line into Newcastle until the March state election would cost around $3 million. Work to truncate the line at Wickham is due to start on December 26. A parliamentary inquiry into planning decisions in Newcastle is tipped to deliver an interim report before Christmas and is expected to recommend the government delay the rail truncation until either the March 28 election or earlier in the month when the committee's final report is due. Mike Baird has written to inquiry chairman Fred Nile saying such a move would cost $220,000 a week. The Lock the Gate Alliance has reached out to coal companies telling them their water consumption in the Hunter Valley is too high. Coal mines run across the Hunter River, and in some places mining companies own as much as 95% of high-security water. Alliance coordinator Georgina Wood says the Hunter Valley is losing too much water.
At the moment, the Hunter catchment is a leaking bucket, and you can increase the amount of water flowing into their leaky buckets, and that will alleviate the immediate threat. But if you want to stop it from leaking, you have to fill up the holes, and that means tackling the mining industry.
And new life is set to be breathed into a large residential development near Raymond Terrace. The Kings Hill project was stopped in its tracks in 2010 because of a lack of road infrastructure. However, developers are now hoping to build a $34 million link to the Pacific Highway to get the project back on the drawing board. Now with sport, Sally Spicer.
Newcastle Jets Youth League junior Nick Cowburn says while he's happy to be a utility player, he's hopeful training may give him some direction. The versatility player took the place of Scott Neville in a late inclusion in last Saturday's game against the Wanderers. The 19-year-old remains positive about his prospects.
Being versatile kind of opens up, if there's a slot that I can fill in, I'm happy to. And being that type of player, it doesn't really bother me too much. But as I said, working hard at training might change that perspective. I might cement a spot, or if I don't, I'm happy to be a versatility player.
Singleton Rugby will state their case for a return to Premier Rugby at a board meeting on Monday. Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union says it will assess the team's viability and sustainability before making a call. In cricket, Merriweather batsman John O'Dunn has narrowly missed the chance to play in the 2016-2020 World Cup qualifiers after he was bowled for 6 by Papua New Guinea. That's sport. I'm Sally Spicer.
To NURFM News Time 26 to 9.